are probably the smallest strip lashes that I've worn. I'm more of a dramatic lash girly, but I decided to go for something a little more simple, so hopefully they look okay. All right, you guys, cue the intro. Hey y'all, it's Brooklyn and I'm back once again with another YouTube video. So as you guys can tell from the title, I'm going to be giving you guys some advice pertaining to college roommates. I know that for a lot of freshman students or first year students, whatever one you want to use, roommates are usually a very common concern because let's be real, you're rooming with new people. It's a really different experience for a lot of people, especially if you're going out of state and then you're having to room with somebody who you don't even know or you've never even met before. It can be really different. And so I'm going into my third year of college, and so I know a thing or two about roommates, so I decided why not give my subscribers some advice. I've also filmed some college related content in the past that I have curated in a whole playlist, so feel free to check that out. For those of y'all who have not seen this face before, hi, my name is Brooklyn. I give you guys content that talks about faith as a believer in Jesus Christ. I also give you guys vlogs, school related videos, advice, music, videos that give you guys a glimpse of my life. For those of y'all who have not already, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Like, what? I'm so blessed and so grateful to have such amazing subscribers, for real, for real. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also turn on post notifications so that way you guys will not miss out on any uploads. Also, do not forget to follow me on my socials, which are up here and down below as usual. So without further ado, let's get on started. Get on started. So I have not too much on my phone, y'all, but I have literally a whole list of stuff. Your girl came prepared, okay? First piece of advice that I have is make sure you connect with your roommate before moving in. What I mean by that is, of course, we are in the age of social media and networking and all of that stuff. So it is pretty easy 9 times out of 10 to find your roommate on Instagram or any other social media platform. Once you find out who your roommate assignment is, try sending them an email if you don't know their Instagram. You guys can connect and you can exchange numbers. You guys can kind of chop it up a little bit before y'all move in. I'm gonna get into more of this, but it's definitely important that you make sure that you guys, get to know each other a little bit at least before you guys move in, because y'all are gonna be living together. So it's very important that you guys form, a little bit of mutualism between the two of y'all. I'm not saying y'all have to be besties right off the rip because everybody's story is different. I know a lot of people who, they were pretty cordial with their roommate, but then I've also met people who after rooming with their roommate, they became best friends. Definitely have to make sure that you guys just have some sort of mutual, understanding of what y'all are about to get into, and even, trying to get to know each other, likes, dislikes, etc. It also makes things a little less awkward. Get all of the uncomfortable or hard questions out of the way. I know that with some questions, it can be really uncomfortable, but listen, we are getting older, essentially moving on to a different playing field. It's really important that you ask, do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you have a significant other? Like girls, sometimes you gotta ask, like, hey, like with guys, because some people think, oh, guys don't be having issues with their girlfriend coming in all late and stuff, like stuff be happening. So it's really important that you get all the hard combos out of the way. I know my freshman year, I definitely felt a little awkward or nervous asking, certain questions, but it gave us a better understanding of, what we're coming with so that we won't be thrown for a loop. We're getting older, we're getting more mature. College is a way different playing field, I'm telling you. The next point that I have is try not to have too many expectations. Let's be real, we're human, so if that person doesn't meet your expectation, you're gonna be in your feelings and you're gonna be disappointed. I'm not saying expectations is necessarily a problem. Don't expect your roommate to be perfect because nobody is perfect. As far as the connection is involved, y'all don't have to be best friends. I will say a part of me did expect that we were probably gonna be like really close by the end. Freshman year, we were not close by the end. That is what it is, and it is what it is. And it's not to say, that we had, beef or bad blood or nothing. It kind of fizzled out at the end, and that's okay. Like, people grow, people change, people move on, people meet new people. You don't want to expect, perfectionism or anything like that, because we all sin and fall short of the glory of God, okay? So therefore, we are not gonna get it right all the time. Unrealistic expectations is where you don't want to fall into, because then it can lead to disappointment. So the next point that I have, so it's not really a question, but talking about being roommates roommates with your friend or your best friend, etc. As I came to college, I would hear a lot of people say that when it comes to roommates, try not to room with your best friend or your friend, because you could have a chance of having the friendship ruined by rooming with them. To that I say, everybody's experience is different. I don't want to sit here and say that they are right or wrong, because I have seen friendships be strengthened or everything is fine, and then I've also seen friendships break apart after they room together. I will say, definitely when it comes to rooming together, be mindful of the friend that you do want to room with, because sometimes it may not click all the way. You don't know somebody until you live with them. Keep in mind, you know, certain things that they may do or say, or just the way they move, or just the way they act when it comes to, you know, the way they clean up after themselves, the way they take care of their room. Not watching them like a hawk, but just, you know, keeping an eye out of just things that they may do. But I guess it really depends on, you know, how y'all mix. If you do have the option of choosing your roommate, definitely, you know, be mindful of the friend that you choose to room with. It wasn't included in my notes, but I do want to shed some light on this point as well. For most schools, yes, you can pick your roommate, but it is not guaranteed that you will get the roommate that you pick. I know at my school, we do have the option of putting down who we want our roommate to be. Now, actually, I'll say this. After your freshman year, like spring semester, when you pick your housing for fall, you do have the chance. It just depends on if they have put down their housing deposit already, because before you pick your housing, you have to have already registered for the next semester. You have to already have paid your housing deposit, all of that, right? If I'm gonna use my school, for example, say you want to live in Gateway. When you go pick your rooming assignment, you get to pick your roommate and your room you want to stay in as well. If the person you want to room with has already picked a room, all you would have to do is go select, I believe you have to just go select the room. You select the room, make sure that their name is next to it, and then you have your room assignment. However, if you want to live off campus, it is kind of different, and it's kind of like a lottery process. You do not want to pay late and then you're scrambling trying to figure out where the heck you're gonna stay. So make sure that you guys pay your housing deposit and get all of that taken care of on time. The next piece of advice that I have is please be considerate. I might even add respectful as well. If your roommate says they don't want it to be too noisy after midnight, and you have your friends over after midnight and y'all are making noise and being loud and stuff, like, come on, that's disrespectful, and that's also inconsiderate. Especially when midterm season comes up and final season. I know that's when a lot of people really want their peace and quiet, because they are trying to study and they are trying to get assignments and stuff done. You really need a peaceful atmosphere with that. So with that being said, if they choose to study or spend their quiet time in their room, just make sure that you are being considerate and make sure that you are being respectful of their space as well. Don't be eating up all of their snacks. I know some roommates, if y'all cool like that, y'all, you know, share snacks with each other, that's great. Just make sure that you aren't eating up all of their stuff, using all of their hair products, using all of their soap. Like, ask before you use, first and foremost. I think sometimes people fail to realize that it is not just them living there, it is you sharing space with somebody else. You have to not just think about yourself, but you also have to keep your roommate into consideration at sometimes as well. For me personally, you know, I've shared a room with my sister when I was younger, so I understand how it feels to share a room with somebody else. Me personally, I never had an issue with the whole roommate thing. Like, I was just like, okay, let's do it. But some people may not be the most comfortable. They'd be like, I don't want to share a room with nobody. Like, no, some people just have to adjust. Definitely be respectful and considerate of your roommate. So the next point that I want to strongly emphasize: communicate, even when it feels weird. I know that sometimes people might have anxiety when it comes to speaking up for themselves, or even if there's an issue and they don't want to say anything because they don't want the other person to get upset. Listen, I understand. However, it is definitely important that you guys set that boundary from the jump. Like, make sure you guys talk and be like, hey, like, if there is an issue, don't be afraid to tell me, and vice versa. You really have to think about this, because when it comes to rooming with people, conflicts may arise. I feel like this is where your maturity is tested as well. Communication really is key, because the thing is, I cannot read your mind. You're gonna have to tell me. And as adults, like, if you don't tell me that something is up, I'm just gonna keep walking like everything is fine. But if something isn't fine, tell me. This is definitely when we gotta, really gotta, buckle down and be maturing adults. Get acclimated. There we go. I finally found the word. It's definitely an experience for you and your roommate to get acclimated with each other, set those boundaries with each other, for sure. So the next point that I have is try to be welcoming and kind when it comes to your roommate. Some people, college is something they're really looking forward to. They're more outgoing. They're ready to go to this function. They're ready to go to the CAP, and they want to go this. They just want to go out and explore, etc. Right? Then you do have some people who college may be a really big adjustment distant for them. They might miss their family a lot, and it might be really, really challenging for them to let loose and get comfortable. I feel like your roommate should be, you know, the first person that makes you feel welcomed and makes you feel like you can get out of their comfort zone and out of their bubble. I know during welcome week, the freshmen basically have the whole campus to themselves, and so definitely be like, hey girl, you want to go to the freshman talent show tonight? Like, and then be like, yeah girl, cool. And then y'all can go out, get to know each other more, make new friends together, things like that. And this can definitely be beneficial for further down the line, because now you guys have mutual friends, you guys can hang out, and y'all don't have to be besties. However, it is good to have somebody you know that you can talk to, because in college, community is so important and you can't go through all of it by yourself. So okay, so this next one is another one that I want to strongly emphasize. If your roommate has a significant other, make sure you guys set boundaries and ground rules day one. Your roommate might have a boyfriend. That's cool, that's great. However, it's really important that you guys talk about, okay, like if they don't go to the same school, when is it cool for them to visit? Or when they do come to visit, what time? Because you know, you really have to just, again, it's all about being convenient and also being considerate of your roommate. There's times where you may not want company over at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you come back and your roommate's boyfriend is there, and you're gonna be like, why are you still here, Bookie? And again, these conversations might be challenging. These are the conversations that had to be had, because let's be real, especially in college, people be getting physical in these little dorm rooms, and baby, it's a no for me. Again, you have to really set those boundaries and really communicate. Again, this is not just their room. This is your room as well. So you really have to put your foot down at times. Okay, so this one is actually, all of these are important, but this one I feel like is something that's really beneficial, and that is share locations with your roommate. I know that for me, I was really busy. I had a busier schedule compared to my roommate. I'm gonna use my freshman year roommate as an example, because my sophomore year, me and my roommate's schedules were pretty packed. I will say freshman year, my schedule was more packed compared to my roommate, and so we did share locations. I believe we did share locations. Yeah, I believe we shared locations with each other, because for me, like, I travel a lot during, I would say probably mostly the spring semester, or sometimes I'd be going out of state. She would know where I was and I would know where she was, and especially when you are in organizations that travel a lot, it is cool to share locations with your roommate just so that they can know that you're safe and you're okay. Okay, so the next one that I have is, don't be afraid to let your faith shine through. I know that sometimes when it comes to being a Christian, it can be a really touchy subject for some people, and not only that, but it's like they already kind of have this perception of you already. But at the same time, don't be afraid to allow the spirit that God gave you to shine, because the Bible does say that we are the city on a hill. We are supposed to let our light shine. It is very important that, you know, we are not trying to conceal that, even for our roommates in college. So you might be in your room reading your Bible, and they might come in and they might see you reading your Bible. They could ask, hey, like, what are you reading? Like, can I join you? I'm trying to, you know, get better with reading my Bible. Can you give me some tips? They could even ask you for prayer at one point. You know, they might want to go to church with you. You never know how you could plant the seed in somebody's life. And so it's really important that don't allow being in college to shrink your witness. You never know who's watching you. If anything, let your light shine so that other people will ask, what must I do to be saved? Okay, so the next point that I have is discuss y'all's schedules for each semester. During like the time where you have a little bit of breathing time before classes start, definitely compare you guys' schedules. And this is important because you guys can see, like, okay, when will they be out of the room? When will they be back? You know, what does their schedule look like? So that way I have a bit of a consensus as far as when they'll be in and out of the room. Because, like, let's be real, you know, as a content creator, this was actually really important, because sophomore year, my roommate and I had pretty packed schedules, but there were times where she would be in class at like 5 and I would be back from rehearsal. I would film while she was out of the room, so that way I wouldn't have, you know, all my setup and everything in the way, and that way it can be convenient for her. And then freshman year, my roommate went home every weekend, so I would just film on the weekend. That way I could also balance my work schedule as well as my filming schedule too. So that also plays a key role, because you just want to make sure, like, okay, and then plus you you kind of have an idea. Then you kind of have an idea where your roommate could be. So like when the 2 o'clock hour hits, you're like, oh, my roommate has a class from 2 to 3:20 or something, or I'll be out from 4 to 5:20 because I have rehearsals. So say y'all have to go to the grocery store, y'all could go to the grocery store together and be like, okay, well, my day is done after 2:50, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll be out of class, and y'all can be on the same page so that y'all can take care of business. And speaking of schedules, this actually pertains to scheduling as well, and that is make a cleaning schedule and try your best to abide by it. This is probably one of the most important things because like those rooms are but so big, and so you have to be mindful of dust and things getting messy, because let's be real, sometimes we have our moments where we're running around everywhere and we got so much stuff to do that we might forget to clean. So it's really important that you guys establish a cleaning schedule and try your best to abide by it, so that way you guys can keep your rooms tidy. That kind of goes back to exchanging class schedules as well, because say 2 classes on Tuesday, you can set aside an hour to clean the room or sweep the floors or take care of your part of the room, and then maybe when your roommate gets back, they can take care of what they have to clean in the room. It all comes together because you got to communicate. Y'all are sharing a space. It's not just you, it's them too, so y'all got to work together. I kind of already touched on this, but don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Your maturity gets tested a lot in college, and there's going to be instances where you can't just let people walk all over you or make you feel like you don't have a voice. If something is bothering you, say something. If you feel like something could be done differently, say something. And you don't have to be aggressive with it. You know, in school you learn about passive, aggressive, and assertive. There is a way to be assertive without being rude or disrespectful. One thing that I had to learn is that how the other person reacts has nothing to do with you. The only thing you can control is how you respond and how you react and how you verbalize your issues. As an overthinker, listen, I get it. I understand, you know, the fear of feeling like, dang, they're gonna be pissed if I say this, or they're not gonna take this too well. If it doesn't get spoken about, it's gonna keep getting swept under the rug, and it can even accumulate bigger problems. So you have to nip it in the bud right then and there. And again, I would say definitely, you know, ask God to help you. Sometimes you really gotta pray those prayers, because another piece of advice, when it comes to communication and talking about certain things such as, you know, conflict or things, try not to text. Texting can get read the wrong way sometimes. It's very important that your good is not evil spoken of. So I feel like having these conversations in person is a lot better. You know, we're right in front of each other, and so the energy can be read the way that it is, versus if you text it to each other, something that was said with respect could be taken as, you know, passive aggressive or rude. Speaking about these things in person might be the better option. And last but not least, be yourself. I know it's really cliche, but yes, sometimes personalities may not mix or click right away, but still don't let that affect you from being your true authentic self, because in college you're going to be faced with a lot of personalities, different attitudes, different perceptions, etc. And so don't let that take away from who you are. You have to come into college really remembering who you are and whose you are. Don't you dare change yourself, not even for your roommate. You never know who is watching you, and especially as a person of faith, things like that can, you know, really plant the seed in somebody else's life. Being yourself is really all you can be. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. I've made a playlist for you guys that has all of my college related content in it, so feel free to check that out. Also, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and do not forget to follow me on my socials, which are up here and down below as usual. God bless you guys. I love y'all so much, and I will see you next time. Mwah, bye.